Just having a look at a few charts of interest while I wait for the stock market to open. It'll be interesting to see how we end the year. I'm just covering off a few charts, and this most recent template has been working really excellent. It's been the way you can really test strategy is to actually use it. It's back testing. You can only learn so much from back testing, but I've now been using this in actual practice, and it's working great. So the idea of this template, I'm going to do a special video about this, but I'm thinking about getting an algorithm made to send me an alert when the conditions are met for this, rather than I don't know. Every time I think I might get an algorithm made, I realise I don't really need it made, but for somebody else might. If I can get an algorithm that does what I want it to do, then somebody who doesn't have quite as much time to spend on looking at the charts as I do, they might be able to, if you're working full time or something, you might be able to get an alert rather than spending so much time monitoring the trades or something. I'm not sure about those yet. I'll have to see what's possible. So the idea of this is so I can quickly look at for when I'm doing the short-term trading like I have been in the last few months. I can use this template to quickly identify these better, higher probability moves. That's what I'm trying to do. Is I don't want to get caught up in these small volatile runs that you get on the intraday. I want to get these larger runs on the smaller time frames. It's very hard to identify, and it's been something that I've been working on for a long time, how to identify these stronger moves. So this has been working really well, and so basically I'm looking for the alignment with this in agreement and the moving averages in agreement. So for example here, this is not in agreement, so I look at this straight away. I know I just immediately don't look at this any further if it was like this. So that's really made the process a whole lot simpler, and so this is the two. This trade. This is the this leg here, but there was two trades here. So, and then that's one long trade there, and that's another long trade there. Now when you go to the intraday, it's much easier to see on the intraday. Now I've got a perfect entry here. It's the exact same entry that I just showed on the chart. But that's the first leg, and then you can't trade this bit here at all because it's against the rules of my intraday method. And then you can enter here. So, and this trade here is this one. Is this first trade, this first leg here, so it shows you just how huge that move was and how far away it got from VWAP. So this is what I'm looking for, not the get a lot of choppiness, and I'm trying to avoid. The purpose of it is to avoid this stuff and only get these bigger moves, which is a lot harder than it might seem. But so. It's been working really well, and it's cut down a lot of time doing research, but I'll go into it in more detail in a special video, and I'll show exactly what I'm doing with it. So Apple, stocks like Apple, I'm looking at these. These are on my priority watch, these sort of stocks, and because they're looking for a mean reversion now, but still got quite a bit of momentum to the downside here, so potentially this is not ready for a trade yet, but I want to have it on my priority watch so I can manage it. I'm just giving an idea of what I look at, and I'm not saying anyone to trade these stocks. I'm just trying to give a general idea. I can't show you how I trade really, but all I can do is show you what I look at, and And then the rest comes with experience. Just so Facebook, for example, this was on my priority watch list. Now this has given a long entry setup, but it's only on the smaller time frames because you're still below the trender here, what I call the trender, and you've got a potential for the mean reversion, and the weekly is more advanced here. The weekly bottom is more advanced than what it was in Apple. But I hate Facebook as a company, but I'm not really interested in the fundamentals of it. It's just pure technical trade, this, so pure oversold mean reversion. That's all I'm looking at. I'm not delving into what's behind Facebook or whatever. So go to smaller time frames. This is my entry here on the smaller, on the 4 hour, so the daily and the 4 hour. That was my entry there. Now it came back. It did come back a bit, and it's rallied on again. So reasonably loose stop on it here. So this is an options trade, call options here, but it's only a small position. It's counter trend. As you can see, it's counter trend against the daily. So there's the potential for this to reverse. So you've got to be managing it fairly closely. But just giving a bit of an idea of the difference between the two stocks, and that's the basic idea of what I'm looking at. And the Nasdaq here is touching on the 20 MA there. It's been testing that 20 MA there. Can't say this is just a correction at this stage. You need to see where the high comes in. If you get a lower high, maybe you get a lower high around lower monthly high around this level. It turns back down again. That's when you've got a high probability of seeing a big move to the downside. But it almost never goes straight down. It'll go down, test the MA, come back up, and where the high, if it makes I very much doubt if it'll make a new high in 2019, but almost certainly we'll get something like a consolidation at best. I would say a consolidation, but we don't want to make long-term forecasts. We're just taking as it comes. So there's no point trying to predict the future. But it's certainly not a confirmed top reversal yet, as a lot of people are claiming. And the weekly has held support here so far. So we've just got to see these levels, and the Kijun's flat. So just got to watch these levels carefully, and certainly could break down here. There's nothing to say that it can't break down below this level, but there's still plenty of downside momentum on the MACD. So, and the breadth on the S&P 500 is still very, very weak, but it still can claim this level back by the end of the month. Just can still have a rally in the last 2 weeks of December and get that back. But it's certainly looking quite weak. There's certainly no case to be aggressively bullish at this point, that's for sure. This is the tight daily range that's been a distribution range because it's distributing above and below the Kijun's, and this support did hold here, so just got to see if this support holds into the end of the week. But certainly going to be interesting to see what it does. But I'm expecting a bit of a rally, but very hard to say at this stage. But the VIX is still in the danger zone. MACD is still crossed up, so anything can happen here. This has pulled back a bit on the daily, but still can spike up here because it's not over. It's not over yet by a long shot, and according to what I'm seeing on the chart at the moment, the danger of more downside is still there. Russell 2000, this support did break. I thought this support was going to hold here, but it has broken, and the Kijun's turned down, so that could be telling us that there's more downside to go yet before we see any sort of support level forming, but it's been hard to sort of make any assumptions about it, but we're going to be it's going to be interesting to see how it ends the year. So the DAX has been down. The DAX has been a great short with the monthly. This is the monthly on the DAX and the weekly DAX here, the German DAX. So this has been really good shorting here on the weekly. There's been quite a few. It still looks like there's momentum to the downside on the DAX yet. It's been quite a heavy reversal there. It's off a head and shoulders. That's the head there. That's the shoulder and the shoulder. So the head and shoulders is a very good, reliable pattern, especially on a weekly like that. And the US dollar's been. This is in a range here because it's still above the Kijun-sen, but the MACD's crossed down, so it's ranging under this heavy resistance here. So it's going to be interesting to see what it does, but I have to just see how I'm anticipating the US dollar to weaken from here, but I just don't want to make any assumptions long term. Take it as it comes, but if it does break below the Kijun-sen there, it's most likely going to be seeing some downside, but particularly difficult to trade with this with this volatility here. It's caused me to trade on a lot smaller, shorter time frames. The gold is expecting the dollar to weaken because gold's rallying, and usually that suggests it's not always right, but in the longer run it can be quite a good indicator. But I have to just see if this weakness does come into the US dollar again. US dollar should be down against the yen, but just waiting for the December rate rise, and then we should have a better idea. But looks like some dollar weakness is going to creep in, but I'll be very surprised if this breaks out to the upside. And emerging markets, this is emerging markets, and the US dollar is just. So they're just sideways at the moment. It's undecided. So if the US dollar does turn down, the emerging markets will turn up off this support here. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in 2019. Maybe we see a rally, weaker dollar, and a rally in emerging markets. It's hard to say, but it depends on how things go with the China tariffs, of course, as well. But that remains to be seen. And oil's been forming this base here a bit, but still nothing to trade on the upside yet. Still, I've got a high priority on a move back to the upside. At least I don't expect a strong move at this stage, but on the smaller time frames, I've been monitoring oil, but nothing tradable there just yet. Gas has broken down now after this long consolidation here, so it's been quite nice there, quite a nice move. It should unwind. A lot of this upside should be unwound here now. So the weekly's certainly showing some downside, so it's been nice too. Anyway, that's about it for my time limit. I'm up to my almost up to my 15-minute time limit, and if I go any longer than that, I'll even start to bore myself. So it's best if I keep it at 15 minutes. And this was real interesting to see. This is a double top here on the and. We'll just have to see what happens with gas, but anyway, that's about it. And what a massive upside. All right, bye. Thanks.